Yeah, I think it's just about like doing your inner work and becoming like emotionally intelligent and like realizing that yes, you need to be selfish to a certain extent, but anything in extreme is like not good.
Yeah, I mean, like you should be selfish to be selfless.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So fill your cup till it overflows and then give it away to everybody else.
Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show.
What's going on, Eagles? Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show. I'm Joey.
I'm Drew.
There we go. I was waiting for you to come in. We're going to have fun
Well,
today.
I just found out that Talia thinks I don't do any work.
If you
That's
didn't...
not true. I know you do work. He's just like he's like a character. Like he's just like
You are a character. I'll
Yeah.
give you that. I wonder what
like
your
I was
impression of me is. Then.
I got what he said. You're the workhorse.
I am like a,
You're
I'm
just
like
like-
a noble steed.
yeah.
Just like a
you're
workhorse.
just like
I don't think you can call yourself.
you're
a noble.
locked in.
I am locked in.
He is
And
locked
Drew's
in.
just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Well,
That's accurate.
at the old office, we were in a single like room, and we had
Literally
a
a
share.
single room.
Yeah, it was like literally me, Brianna, and Joey in this room for like
It was
the
very. It was like
entire
a,
day.
it was almost like a closet. It
Joey
was
would
very
come
small.
in. Joey would come in, locked in,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, Joe, you're kind of killing the vibe, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
So this is
yeah,
me now.
I'm
I'm like, you're no fun. Where's
Exactly.
the fun?
And
Exactly.
I'm walking in and I'm like, wait a second, like there's work to be done.
Yeah.
Like we're having fun. Like fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
my opinion is life is short. It should be fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
Even the hard work is fun.
I
Well,
agree.
that's, I think
it has
why
to be.
I've aged in reverse since
Especially
we
if we're gonna
started
fucking,
doing this.
Especially if we're gonna grind our balls off 24/7. Like,
Listen, I
might as well
agree.
be fun.
He's ever evolving.
Exactly. He is.
He's
much-
adapting to
He's,
his environment.
yeah. The work has gotten harder, but Joey's gotten fun.
He's a chameleon.
Because hard work makes
Who
you
are
happy.
we?
Hard work makes you
Who are we
happy.
speaking with today? That's,
Uh,
we're
We
like
are-
halfway into the show.
We are here today with the face of the few, right? If you've never heard Talia's voice, right, you've definitely at least seen her because she's been in probably every shoot that
Yeah.
we've done for the past. I
and
don't know,
she
year.
does the Fuel Hunt Hot Girls Guide for Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh,
so.
She
Of
does
course.
do that. Fuel Hunt athlete, also a podcast host,
I am.
also an entrepreneur,
I am.
also a jiu-jitsu practitioner, blue belt,
This
right?
is true,
Blue
blue belt.
Yep. Okay.
I don't rush it.
But
Don't
some
rush it.
people will
We're-
say
we're
a
comfortably-
higher belt, but identifies as a blue belt.
Okay, I got
I've
you.
been using that joke a lot. That identifies.
I mean, it
It's,
hits.
guys, it's
It
really a
hits.
touchy joke.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
be careful
I-
with that
I
one.
mean, it kind of hits. I mean,
I
kinda
love it.
hits. Kinda hits.
But would some people at your school argue that Talia is not like get their ass beat by Talia and be like, yo, she's not a blue belt? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's
No,
like,
then you see some of these girls out there that are like blue belts and they're black belts.
Yeah.
And they're competing at blue belt.
Yeah.
So like you have to be
Locked in.
locked in.
it's
That's
the-
where I'm like, I'm not there yet. I will be. And I don't think you ever feel like you're there.
Yeah.
But I have too much that I want to achieve where I'm
Yeah.
at before I'm ever even thinking of myself as a purple belt.
Yeah. You're enjoying the journey.
Yeah. We're not rushing the
journey,
process.
The journey.
There we
Tell before we started the show, you said something that you find like completely refreshing about Talia.
I said
recap if
the
you could,
refreshing thing about Talia is the energy you get from her on Instagram or TikTok, wherever you're finding your Talia content. You're getting the same version of Talia when you meet her in person.
Yeah.
Whereas a number of these
He's wording it so much nicer.
influencers, they're just
Instagram
weird.
girlies.
They're just weird. The
The
Instagram
thing
girlies
is, people are weird.
are weird
People
in
are
person.
just
yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
But it allows them to, Instagram kind of gives them an avenue or a vehicle to express themselves better because there's no one around.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to express yourself that way when you're actually with
other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
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 I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Is that a weird way to think of it? It's like
No.
on social media, you're with millions of people,
Yeah,
but you're
but you're
actually by
alone.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kinda
It's super.
lonely.
It's super accurate. It's like a conversation that a lot of people have actually.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like you're saying, like it's just you and your phone, and the person that you are at that time. You can't, unless you're completely congruent like Talia. You can't be that person when you're with other
Yeah,
people
I
because
think
there's
there's-
influence and energy.
There's people that are also like extroverted when they're alone. Like they can be super extroverted on camera, but like as soon as they're in front of people, they just like it's
Yep.
not like they can't open up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a really good assessment.
I feel like I feel like actually jiu-jitsu made me find the extroverted version of myself again. I feel like she was lost at one point, and she was like, could you imagine me being like meek? Never.
Yeah.
I like kind of got like lost myself, and then when I found jiu-jitsu, I was like, oh, okay, this is me. I feel I can vibe with this. And I definitely like became way more of like a personality in general.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I started training in 2021, the end of August. So 3.5
BC.
years.
Before COVID, BC.
No.
No, that's DC during COVID. 21.
2021 was like kind of not COVID, was it?
I don't know.
Oh
My
no.
My life's flashing before my eyes, so I have no idea.
We had enforcers coming to our school in 21. We started.
But
you said
weren't
August.
You weren't training when
August 21, right? Or did I start August 22?
We definitely started after COVID.
I was like,
We had enforcers, man. We had enforcers coming on Common Ave and tell us to put
I
masks
feel
on
like I
while
was
we were.
after
Really?
COVID.
Yeah.
It wasn't like scary. Like
It
wasn't
was
like
manageable.
too bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like safe to like be in public.
What do you think it is about jiu-jitsu that helped you find that part of you that was, like you said, kind of lost, or maybe deep down?
I think it was because I started jiu-jitsu as an individual. Like I went into this new place alone with no friends, with nobody, and like I needed to be my own advocate, and like I needed to make friends.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much like I had people to kind of like hide behind or they took the reins. Like I had to be that person for myself. And I really think that's the main thing that made me kind of find that like sillier, goofier version of myself. And you just meet so many different people.
Yep.
And it just becomes like, oh, like everyone's coming from all over. No one's really like judging me. So like I feel comfortable here.
Yeah. What an environment to like make friends in, right?
Yeah.
The serious way of saying it is like pain adheres people, or it's an adhesive, but really it's just like, doing that hard work, and it opens you up and makes you vulnerable to who you really are, and then people can bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also becomes much harder to make friends as you get older because you're not put in environments too unless you have like-minded
point.
hobbies.
Yeah. It's a good
So,
point. It's a good point.
if all of your friends are like at college or something like that and you're just kind of like alone starting something on your own is where you're going to like, if you're going to the same place every day, you see the same faces eventually.
Yeah.
What brought you to jiu-jitsu? Like, were you struggling? Like, did you know you needed something to break you out of your shell, or?
I think that it would have been, I never would have found it this way, but like on my own, just as like a hobby, which I wish I would have because it's so neat, but I didn't know what jiu-jitsu was. So I couldn't have just like started it. I knew what like the UFC was, and I knew what like, boxing was, but I didn't know like what jiu-jitsu was. So back in the summer of 2021, in the beginning of the summer, I had an altercation at work, and I was, as I do, sticking up, inserting myself to defend somebody who wasn't being treated right. And in turn, somebody that I trusted and didn't think they would put their hands on me did. Somebody much bigger than me, like
A man.
Yeah.
and I never, ever,
What
ever.
line of work was that?
It was like a family business.
Okay.
The person wasn't family, but and this was during COVID-ish time too, like the beginning.
Yeah.
Not the beginning of COVID, but the beginning of the summer. So it was definitely more so like I never thought ever if you told me that a man was going to put his hands on me, like I would be like, yeah, right.
Yeah, you
like
almost
I
feel
know
like
what to
that's-
do in that situation. Like no one's putting their hands on me. Like I can stick up for myself. I was like that kind of person. So when it happens and you just black out and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like I don't know how to defend myself. Like this is really scary. Luckily, somebody else was there to step in and de-escalate the situation. But it's a lot of what goes on in your head that's like, what if that person wasn't there to de-escalate that situation?
Yeah.
What if the man that was there wasn't fucking 6'4" and huge and was able to, pry this apart?
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like, I mean, afterwards I was like, this didn't happen. Like you think like this didn't happen. And then, you start and you hear like, all the different things happen to different people. And it's like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. Like maybe it's other people have it worse and like it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not okay here. Like, I need to do something so that I can, like, feel safe and not feel like that was really, like, I just felt like you don't know what to do. Like, you're, or you really just didn't know. You think you would know what to do. It's like, I was not somebody people fucked with.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost feel like when you said you've never visualized that ever happening, you almost feel like it's like, oh, even for societal reasons, like, oh, a guy's never gonna come like put his hands on me, like that's just that
especially
doesn't
not
happen.
somebody that you
Trusted.
know and you trust.
Yeah.
You know, that's I think the most times that stuff like this happens is when it's somebody that you
your guard's down.
Yeah, your guard is down. You think like, okay, maybe we're having some sort of verbal altercation, but you're not gonna fucking put your hands on me.
Yeah.
Like, that's not gonna happen. You're like probably 250 pounds. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know.
Use the phrase blackout.
Oh, I literally blacked out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell you what happened if I didn't have it on video.
Yep.
Yeah, I was not there.
And I think most people don't understand that. Like when you're put in that situation, like people are like, "Oh, I'll know what to do or I'll figure it out." And there's like your brain shuts off.
Yeah,
like
but the craziest
you're
thing.
like blackout.
Oh, literally blackout. But the craziest thing is the most I've ever felt that was in my first jiu-jitsu competition, my first match.
Yeah.
I blacked out and I couldn't hear him Al coaching me.
Yeah.
I did not know what was going on. So it's like it mimics that.
Yes.
And that's why I think competing is important, because it's able to mimic that.
Yep.
I said to my son Parker's on a few tournaments, competitions, and Amanda will be yelling from the. Like,
He can't hear
he's
you.
only done Jiu-Jitsu World League, so you're not on the floor. He's done wrestling matches too, but like with the wrestling matches,
There's, like, a barrier.
you're around. Well, the wrestling matches you're allowed to stand right around the circle. Like it's stupid. I don't know why they allow that. But Jiu-Jitsu World League, there's a barrier. Like you're literally, he's in an arena and you're in the stands. I'm like, Amanda, he can't hear you. Like all he hears right now is whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
you're screaming for you right now.
That's what it feels. That's
You're
what it
screaming so
feels
you
like.
feel
Like,
better.
you're better off just not even yelling, because I've done the wrestling matches like back in the day. Like you go out there and you just like it's literally just you don't even know what's going on.
It's like the powerlifting stage. It's the same thing when you step up on the platform.
Well, not quite.
Yeah.
Not quite. But
I don't know. I've never powerlifted, but I'm going to tell you, yeah.
I mean, it's similar. I mean, if you have
you can
I
try.
know.
400 pounds on your back that's about to crush you, I mean,
That's pretty scary.
it's
if you ask
like
me.
I need to go
Yeah.
down and come back up. There's a black curtain. There's like a blackout where your body just basically says, I'm going to do what I'm
Survival
trained
mode.
to do. Right? And
Yeah.
like that's what was missing when you had,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
When-
there was no. I think now, if I was in a situation like that, even if I blacked out, at least I have instincts,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like when
Yeah.
the black curtain came and you blacked out,
Yeah.
there was nothingness, and
There
that's
was
the
nothing.
scariest
Yeah.
part. But now that you're trained, when the black curtain comes and it comes down, there's skill there. There's training. There's muscle memory. Your body knows. Like you know what I mean. There's a plan of attack.
Yeah.
You
So
know what I mean?
it was like an actual altercation. Like they last for an extended period of time, or was it?
I mean, we don't have to get into
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it was
whole
it
thing,
was
but-
it was like not like over days. It was like one instance.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, it was verbal until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just don't think it's gonna turn into
Yeah.
anything more than that.
Yeah.
Without going in like too deep into it, like what after it, you started to deny that it happened, and that's like it's common. You know what I mean?
The thing is, like, I would never say that I would be a person like that too. So it's
Yeah.
just weird how like
Well, that's
your
what
body.
trauma does to you.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I mean?
just.
Sure.
I was just like, well, like it we
Wasn't
don't
that
have to-
bad,
yeah.
or it didn't happen this way, or it didn't right.
Yeah, I was like, it's not like a big deal or whatever. Like, and then I'm just like, but then it's when it's just you and like your thoughts.
Yes.
You're like, okay, I know, like I'm self-aware enough to know that like you're not like acknowledging how you're feeling right now
Yes.
about this, right? Because you just want it to go away.
Yep.
But that's not going to fix any of the actual problems, which is why, like, I think with training, like when a lot of girls have things happen to them and then they come into the gym, no matter what it is, you know, no matter how severe it was, when they don't train with men because of that right off the bat, I think that's like the worst thing you can do, because now you're building this hurdle that you're going to have to overcome one day when you train with a man.
Yeah.
So
You like, so what took you, so where I was going with that was
Yeah.
that space that you were in, I get it, right? How did this switch flip to you saying, okay, look, I'm going to break out of, it wasn't that bad. Maybe I did something. Did it even happen? Maybe this is just a big misunderstanding. Like
Yeah.
all those waves of emotion
Yeah.
and processing. When did the switch flip and you say, okay, jiu-jitsu? Like, I'm going to walk into this.
Somebody suggested that I train jiu-jitsu. I think I was just in a bad mental space. Like, there was a lot of stuff happening in that year. My dad was really sick. And then that happened. And it was just like, there's so much going on right now that like I'm not in control of.
Yeah.
And somebody suggested that I train. I didn't even think I was going to do jiu-jitsu. I thought I was going to do kickboxing, which is just like so ironic because I thought that's like, the most ideal way to defend myself. But then when I walked into my intro, Al had asked me about like, what made you want to train, which I think is an important question to ask. And I was just like, this happened. And then he's like, oh, okay. So you want to know how to defend yourself? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, you're probably not going to knock a dude out. So, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's like the most ideal martial art for me to be learning for self-defense, which is just so funny because like we were just talking about this on the car ride here is like, I did not think that it was ever not going to be self-defense, but it's the last thing I think about when I train now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think then I just decided I was so nervous to walk into the gym. Oh my God.
I was going to ask you that question next.
Yeah. So did you go on Google and like just look up?
Yeah.
And
the gym was suggested to me. So that's where it's like, okay, if somebody's going to give me advice on where to go, great.
yeah.
I was so nervous to walk into the gym. I had my friend do my intro lesson with me. So it's like, okay, at least I'll have like a
system.
So I did it
face.
with Ant. Too.
Yeah.
Buddy
I needed
system.
like just a face there that like I wouldn't be so scared because I did not know what I was walking into.
Plus, you're not like, you're walking into a very close quarters practice that is going to trigger what you just went
Yes.
through.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so smart of you to have an anchor, to bring an
Yeah.
anchor with you, a familiar face.
And something that's cool about the gym too is it's a one-on-one. So I wasn't thrown into a class
Okay.
where I was now going to be put in that maybe like I didn't know how I was going to feel.
Sure.
So it was just a one-on-one, and that way my friend was like a good-sized body of me to
okay,
like
yeah.
work the moves on or
Wow.
whatever I was learning.
Yeah.
That's actually from what you guys have told me about your school, Long Island. Like they seem to have a good business operation going.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's a
Good program.
very smart because a lot of the times you go to these jiu-jitsu schools, but it's just a person opening up a school, but. You go and they're like, oh, go ahead, go.
Yeah, you
Oh,
get
like,
lost in the
just in the tank.
background.
We
and-
start in 5.
Yeah.
And then you're like running around doing backwards
Yes.
handsprings.
Well, the thing is, like, for some people, like, different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
For some people, they might want to just go into the tank and just figure it out.
Yeah.
That's how their, like, brain works.
Yeah.
For other people, like the situation you were coming in, you're
Mm-hmm.
coming from a very sensitive situation. Like, that was, I don't use the P word often, but, like, maybe, like, the perfect on-ramp to jiu-jitsu for you at the time.
Yeah, it was like I needed the P word.
Yeah.
I needed that to be like, okay, as soon as it was done, I think like as soon as it started, I was like, oh, I'm signing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't even
That's
a question.
interesting.
I was like, I like this. This
Yeah.
feels good.
Had you had any background in athletics or sports?
I
or?
played tennis actually,
Yeah.
which people think you like don't have to be athletic for, but
No,
you
you
do.
absolutely do.
And that's like the only real sport that I did. I did that in high school. And both my brothers are really good at tennis, so that was like the family sport. But other than that, what I was lacking was a hobby. I didn't have anything, so I would wake up, go to work, come home, go to bed. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do anything. I literally had nothing. So like, yeah, you're going to be like depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't have anything. So this jiu-jitsu wasn't just me like I thought it was just me like I'm going to learn how to defend myself, get enough skills, and that's it. Right? But it's like, okay, now like I have a hobby now. Wait, I feel like I have a purpose. I don't feel like I'm just like, working to live and just like life just goes on and I'm like, okay,
Yeah. You're fulfilled. You
Yeah.
feel a sense of
Yes.
fulfillment in it. Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
It helps when you're good at it too. Like, I was gonna say, you said in the beginning that you're like you need searching for something to make you feel better. Essentially, I butchered whatever you said, but Like I was like, that's crazy because jiu-jitsu makes me feel worse.
Yeah, but you keep coming back.
Yeah,
is true.
I also
You know
like
what I mean?
have short-term memory loss. So like I don't even if I was bad one day, like when I think back about on my jiu-jitsu journey, like I don't even remember struggling with certain things, which is like
Yeah.
kind of ironic because like I know I did. Or like
Yeah.
Al will show me a move and I'll be like, it'll store in the back of my brain, and then like a year later I'll be like, look at this sick thing I figured out. Like, and he's like, I showed that to you a year ago. You couldn't make that up. So that also helps.
Listen, I don't know if you clinically have short-term
Oh,
memory
no,
loss.
oh my
Okay,
God,
all right.
don't take me
I don't want to
seriously.
offend you,
It's
but-
not clinically,
Okay,
but
all
I
right.
literally don't remember certain things.
That's
like,
good.
So that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's good in jiu-jitsu. I have big short-term memory loss. Like
Clinically.
there are some no.
Okay.
No, not clinically.
I don't know. You asked me, so
I have like the mind of an elephant. Thank you for checking that. I appreciate it.
I don't
have
want to
the-
offend you.
I remember everything. Like Drew will tell you. Like I have a very good memory. Like I remember conversations we had like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I get it. But I have a habit of like forgetting the shit that I should forget.
Yeah.
Now I forget some stuff I shouldn't forget sometimes. And now that I said that, I just remembered something I was supposed to do today that I didn't do. But
There you
anyway,
go. You're welcome.
having short-term memory loss it's important in entrepreneurship
Yeah.
and jiu-jitsu. I had a moment this Sunday. Somebody pulled me aside after open mat and they were like, "Hey, look, like this is getting really good. Like good work." And I like appreciate that.
Yeah.
And immediately I had a memory of my first class and I wore my gi pants on backwards.
Oh my
first
God.
class.
You know,
I wore
I
them
didn't go
backwards.
to gi classes because I didn't know how to tie my belt, and I was so mortified.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I put
At
my
least you showed up.
I tied the belt, but it was on back.
Yeah.
My pants were on backwards.
He tied
it
the
like
belt behind
unlocks
him.
Yeah, I did.
memories. Yeah.
Yeah. So it like I was like, wow, I completely like forgot about that, and in this moment it like came back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm a fan of short-term memory loss, not clinical, just
No, not clinical.
purposeful.
Not trying
We
to offend anyone.
we did a this or that episode before you came, and curious, gi or no gi?
No gi. You should know this, Drew.
Well, I said I really don't have a preference personally. I do know you train gi though, right?
Started.
Like, yeah, I trained in the gi. Now it's more of like a you have to take your medicine kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I have
Yeah.
to train in the gi because I gotta at least make it like I at least have to make it like 1 or 2 classes in the gi.
Yeah.
It started that my schedule didn't allow me to train in the gi. So I was just not able to make the classes. So then you hate it because you suck in it so much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why are you grabbing me? I can't get you off of me. I don't like this. No gi is just like, it's so much more fast paced and it's
Yeah.
so much more like I can just fucking fly and jump on
Yeah.
top of you and like do crazy
You
shit.
are like a
Yeah.
spider monkey kind
Yeah.
of like.
I just like,
Yeah.
Here I am.
whatever happens, happens.
Here I am.
The other jiu-jitsu related question we had
Yeah, I was
was
gonna-
start from standing or pull guard.
So we're ever evolving, just like him,
Yeah.
right? So
Work in progress.
it
folks.
was guard pulling all the time, every day
All
of the
the
week,
time.
all the time,
All.
all.
Oh.
And I just recently started taking wrestling classes, and now it's wrestling like is buffering in my brain. Like it's not like you could teach me something in
Heard that.
jiu-jitsu and I can get it and like I can implement it, and then wrestling it's like, okay, here's my window of opportunity, it's gone.
Yeah.
I can't
feel-
force it. Like I
Yeah.
need you to react a certain way. So therefore, it's harder for me, but I am enjoying the process. And so I would say I'm 50-50 on that one.
Your wrestling journey, as you described it, is my wrestling journey.
buff.
Well,
It's
we're
the
in it
same.
together.
It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Like with jujitsu, you show me something, I get it. Now, what Danny and Nick showed me at the seminar took me a minute.
I was telling her that.
Took me a minute.
It's like a geometry class.
It's just
like,
it's so much at once. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's so
Whereas-
much at once, but it's not. Once you like unlock the first 3 things,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
get this.
Yeah.
You know?
Whereas the old school approach is like, oh, pin arm down, put arm on. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just very.
Wrestling for
Simple.
me, same thing. Like you said, like jujitsu, you show me something, you only have to show me once.
Yeah.
I have to go through a couple iterations, but then I got it. Wrestling, I'm like buffering.
It also
Wrestling's kind of
depends.
crazy.
Buffering.
Oh, wrestling is insane.
Yeah.
People that are like your parent put you into wrestling when you were like 5. I'm envious of you
Yeah,
because
yeah.
not that it's I'm not making any excuses. I'm in this for the long haul, but I wish.
Yeah.
Let's just
Well,
say that.
My son started wrestling at 4.
Yeah.
But hear me
Oh.
out. So I had this dream for like a state champion in high school, and he just did not. Like, he did it well. He was a good wrestler, but
Yeah.
he just did not like it at all.
No.
Oh.
And I just feel like you need that dog in
Mm-hmm.
you and he doesn't have any older brothers, right? He's the only child. Like a lot of the kids I feel like took to wrestling, take to wrestling at that young age are getting like they have that dog in them.
Oh, they're animals.
Yeah,
They
and
scare me.
So I was like, all right. I was training jiu-jitsu at the time, and I was like, all right, you come try jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
and we'll see how you like that, and then you can pick. And he's like, Dad, I love jiu-jitsu. And like now he's training multiple times a day, but I would I asked him last night, like, oh, when are you gonna start wrestling again? He's like, never. I'm like, all right, you say that
Never.
now.
Yeah.
But freshman year in high school, I'm like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
you've been training jiu-jitsu since you were 5, 6. Like you're gonna
Once he
maybe
realizes that his jiu-jitsu needs wrestling, then
Yeah.
he'll voluntarily
but
pick
that's
it up.
part of the issue is that movement is very guard heavy.
Oh, okay.
And his guard is so good that he doesn't need wrestling at all. They start pulling guard. So
But when he does get to high school and he starts wrestling, he'll be like way more equipped
Exactly.
than the first time he
He's
tried
ready.
it. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
ready.
Yeah,
He'll
but it's
be
like, okay,
ready.
yeah, he'll have a great guard, and then guess what? You'll learn wrestling, and you'll be so good. You'll be
Yeah.
unstoppable.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's the goal.
No one will touch you.
I'm holding out hope that
Yeah.
my state champion days are still ahead of me.
I
not
say
over.
start building the trophy case now, dude. Just
Yeah.
get ready. Start building the trophy case now, so that when he gets there,
Yeah,
you're good.
exactly.
Just
For
pop it
sure.
right in. Just pop it right in the case. What else on jiu-jitsu? You want to talk about anything else jiu-jitsu?
No other this or that questions.
No.
No.
What has, I don't know if we fully articulated it, maybe, but what is it about jiu-jitsu that you love the most? Like looking at your journey thus far, you mentioned, camaraderie and the friendships and all of that, but as you've gone through your journey, is there
I was
something
also
that you love the
curious,
most?
just add on to that, like when did it change from like, okay, this is cool, I'm doing this all the time, to like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
Wait, so I can
actually-
shout you guys out here.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I can.
Okay,
Really?
let's
Because you
do
guys
it.
were a part
I mean,
of
you're
this.
here.
Really?
Let's do it.
Yes. So when I first started training, again, it was like self-defense. I was like, this is just for fun and like to learn how to defend myself. And then, Al's like, well, you should think about competing. And I'm like, yeah, right. Never happening. That's so scary.
Yeah.
Never happening. Then I'm scrolling on Instagram and then I'm like, wait, this girl's cool. She competes. Molly.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, wait, she's really cool. Okay, maybe cool girls compete.
Yeah.
Fuck. So then I'm like, okay, and then I find Amanda, and I'm like, fuck, this girl too?
Yeah.
I'm like, these girls are so cool, and like, I guess this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
I guess if I want to be a
That's
hot girl in
amazing.
jiu-jitsu,
That's amazing.
I have to compete.
That's amazing.
And then that kind of gave me like the, I guess, push of being like, yeah, do it. Like, look, these girls are cool and they're doing it. And like, I was like, all right, maybe I'll do it. So then a year into training, I did my first, it was like a local tournament. And my journey on competing has, I think in the beginning, it was just highs. I was just like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, this is good. Like, I had this like, oh, you're fucking scared of me, like mentality.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the way, it's like, okay, where'd that girl go? She's kind of scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared now. And I'm learning to find the joy in competing again. Obviously, this year for me has been like a busy year. I started a business with my sister. We have our podcast. So we have a lot of stuff going on. So competing took a little bit of the back burner there.
Sure.
But this year, I'm planning on competing a lot more and really focusing on finding the joy in competing again.
Sure.
I saw
Did-
Brianna St. Marie post something about that, and I was like, oh, that really resonates with me.
Did you have a lot of success with competing in the beginning? Is
Yeah.
that why? Okay. So
And I think I set then this expectation for myself.
This is how it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you start realizing that, like, as you start working your way up, all these motherfuckers are just as good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think competing is a skill in itself that you have to develop. And it's like, I can be, great in the training room, but I can walk out there on the mats and not do any of that jiu-jitsu. And I think that's the feeling. That disappointment is what I don't like feeling, is like, I didn't do any of my jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think we described those as the journey, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of times you start it and it's fun, and then it gets hard, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're like, wait a second, where's the fun part? And then you work your way through it, then it gets fun again, then it gets
Yeah.
more difficult. So like, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey. One thing that in the beginning of your journey,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, hey, I'm doing jiu-jitsu for fun and to learn how to defend myself. Like, you're latching those two things together, and I think that's like really unique, because I don't know how, coming from like a violent situation where you're looking to learn how to defend yourself and still being like, hey, let's just sprinkle the fun in.
Yeah, I
is
think
like
I can't even like
maybe it's your
fully-
personality.
I can't even fully credit myself. I think, yes, it is my personality. I think I've done a lot of mental work on becoming a more positive person. And I think it's easy to say, like, just be positive. And then it's like, oh, never say that to me. Like, what do you mean just be positive? Everything sucks. How do you want me to just be positive? But, you know, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yes.
So I think that a lot of like my mental work, and I stopped viewing myself as like a victim to my circumstances. Like, what do you want? Like, I want people to feel sorry for me? No, like, I don't want to just be a victim and live in this mentality of like, oh, well, something bad happened to me and that's why I'm here and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to feel that way.
Yep.
So I think that's part of it, is I did a lot of mental work, a lot of like gratitude, and just being, you know, more present and everything like that. And I credit also a lot of it to like the environment. I think the environment that you're in, if the coach is a good coach, and they're making it fun for you and they keep you engaged, and it's not, if you feel cared about and seen and all that, I mean, I can only credit Al for all of that for me.
Shout out, Al.
Yeah. I don't think I would fall in love with it if I didn't start where I started with the coach I started with.
Yeah.
I think that really plays like a big part.
Yeah. So well said.
Well said. Al, did you suggest she competes just because that's what people do, or did you see potential?
I definitely saw potential.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm going to be like some crazy world champion.
Naturally just like aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She's killing it. The dog.
Yeah.
Which, you
The
know,
eagle.
not everyone wants to be friends with you then, but that's besides
That's okay.
You're the aggressive role.
I think mostly you were saying maybe not everybody wants to be your friend when you got the ego in you, right? But I think most people come around because most people want to feel that type of power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think
the
most
right
people come around. The right people do come around.
And if not that, I think you find the right people.
Yeah.
I think you're not always maybe placed into the environment with them, but like, for instance, like from me going from starting jiu-jitsu, being on my phone scrolling, seeing these two girls being like, oh, they're so cool. And now like I'm friends with them.
Yeah.
Like we're friendly. We, you know, we see each other here, whatever.
Yep.
So I think you then are placed into that community of the right people. And I didn't need to force anything. I wasn't there to make friends. I was there to learn how to defend myself.
Sure.
If friends came along, great. And people come and people go.
Sure.
And I think that's, you know, just a part of the journey.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. So you said you had a lot going on this year, right? A lot of
Yeah.
good stuff, right? So you mentioned business and podcast with your
Yes.
sister. So why don't you tell the few a little bit about those two things?
Yeah. So as for our business, you know, I'm your social media girly. So it's all things content creation. So it's businesses, it's really weddings is what we like jumped into that is kind of like on the up and coming content creation for weddings. It's like a newer thing.
Oh, it is. And I said it's crazy. People, great business to get into because people have no budget when it comes to the wedding.
people
like
are
they'll
crazy.
spend. It's like okay, a photographer levy could be $8,000 for a wedding, $500 on a different day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's people just
It's like wedding. Oh, the price is up.
yeah, and people are like, you know what? Great price. I'll take it.
So
It's so true.
So
It is true.
It is true.
We try not to take advantage of people. Don't get me wrong.
So are you like boots on the ground at the wedding,
Yeah.
like creating content?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
actually
so
pretty awesome.
I've always like been into content creation, so getting into this was like kind of comfortable grounds in that sense. Honestly,
Yep.
I shout out the bride that just took a chance on us with nothing to show. I had nothing, like no portfolio. She just like trusted me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. Because
Did she pay you for that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Shout out.
Like it wasn't just like a trial. Like she fully like was our first person with nothing, no portfolio to show. And I think once people saw what we could do, because it's a little bit different. The content we're shooting isn't traditionally like content creation for weddings is just all on your phone, but we're doing it on a camera, so it's a little bit more elevated content.
That's it.
Yeah. And it itches my brain the right way. Like I
where do
love
I
it.
go to?
Thebridalclub.bts.
I'm sorry, I don't.
So shout out first customers
Yes.
and how important they are.
On your journey.
And sometimes I don't think they know how important they are.
Oh, yeah.
Like you go into I'll say sandwich shop because that's like where I see them all the time. You go into like a sandwich shop and they have their first dollar.
Yeah.
Like that the customers
Yeah.
like framed on the wall. And it's Drew's pulling up a live look.
I just had a
look.
viral one. Swipe down.
That is legit, dude. Like that. Not what I expect. I expected something much more.
My
That's
favorite
amazing.
one's pinned.
So are you working? So do you sometimes show up to the wedding and there's a photographer there that you've
yeah.
never? Okay, all right.
There's
so,
photographers and videographers, and then sometimes it's just me.
Okay,
I'm just like the background girly. Pretend I'm not there.
got you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
sick.
Some people like are super receptive to it. Other photographers, obviously, like they're used to being the photographer, so like
Yeah.
they're not used to like having another person there. I just try not to get in anybody's way. But
To not get in anybody's way, to have that approach, to like be the ninja and create that type of content is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
So,
thank
That's
you.
the content too.
Like, let's
Like,
go.
That's not.
yeah.
Let's go.
They're not like just your typical real
No,
effects.
we really care. Like, we really care about what we put out. And, like, it needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
It will not be anything less
Needs
than
to be the P
perfect.
word.
It needs to be the P word. I used it. And I also just love it. So, like, I need to remind myself to, like, take a break.
Yeah.
Like, I love it so much that, like, I will stay up all hours of the night if I'm editing something and just keep going because I love it.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say your first customer, one probably paid a banger price, but
Oh, yeah.
also probably got
She got so
triple
many.
the value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got so many reels.
Yeah.
Are
But,
you
know,
posting too? Like live posting?
No,
Okay, so
no.
you're doing posts.
That
like,
could be a
production.
It is.
service,
It is a service.
Okay.
It is a
It's an
service.
add-on.
But it is an add-on.
Yeah.
But it's all like raw footage, and then you
Yep.
get it the next day, and then depending on what package you choose, you can get however many completed reels. So you can get
Yeah.
3, whatever it is.
She's locked in.
I knew it was
She's
going
done.
on, so forgive me. I knew it was
Yeah.
going on. I knew what you were up to, but I
Yes.
didn't realize the extent to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were up to
Nah,
it.
And I
yeah.
can't
So,
say it's all me.
it's dope.
My little assistant over there, he helps
Listen,
a lot.
We know who gets the angles.
Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
who gets the angles.
But
We
yeah,
know.
so that's been like our new endeavor this year, and it's taken off. We have weddings booked until like 2026, which is
Yep.
just crazy to think
That's
of.
crazy.
But me and my sister are both so creative, so it was like we didn't have anywhere that was like fulfilling
outlet.
us there.
An outlet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
for
also
creativity.
like it is nice that we can also make money from it.
Yep.
You know,
Sure.
so
Sure.
loving that. And then our podcast, back to what you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
is we started it to honor our dad. So he was like the wisest man ever. And he just had so many little like phrases and things like that like now on my journey of like becoming better with like my mindset and everything like that, I'm like, oh,
It makes sense, right?
yeah, this
Yeah.
makes sense. But I think a lot of times with like parents, you don't realize that until they're not here anymore, unfortunately.
That's true.
But I think that I feel almost even like a stronger connection with him now, and feel like guidance through those things.
Yeah.
So our idea with the podcast is we like to sprinkle in little bits of like him. It's kind of like a self-help sort of way, but like in like a hot girl way, like in a way that's just like we're just girls chit-chatting, we're just two sisters, we're just having fun.
What the
I
hot
was gonna
girl way
say,
to Drew, because I don't think he
No.
understands the
It's
hot
just
girl way.
like-
Do you understand the hot girl
Drew
way?
is a hot girl. What
Yeah,
are
I
you
don't
saying?
like it. I think you should define it for people that like a hot girl isn't like that's like you.
No,
look
you don't
hot.
have to be
It's-
hot,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's your identity.
It's your
Yeah.
aura,
Well,
honestly.
it's your
Yeah.
energy, the energy
Yeah.
you give off. It's like a few energy.
Yeah,
I identify as a hot girl.
I know. You're the original hot girl.
Bro, between you're
No,
very,
someone
you're digging
commented.
your own hole, bro. I don't
Someone
even have to dig one
commented
for you.
on the reel. I'm not a hot girl, but I want to wear a matching set. And I said, anyone can be a hot girl.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go,
So-
man.
Yeah, Dane, you gotta put that in the trailer, bro. It's gonna be like
Bro.
He's zoned out.
Yeah, Dane, you missed a gem, man. You missed a gem like 60 seconds ago. Yeah. Dane,
He's
Dane
like,
will get
actually, we weren't
post-production.
recording this whole time.
Yeah, all right. Drew, can you go back to the part where you said you are? I'm not even gonna say it out loud.
Yeah,
Then people cut it up, and then it's gonna be me
Oh.
saying it. I don't know. I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm gonna go with the few energy.
Oh, the name of the
The I
podcast
word.
is The I World. Yes, for the I Man. My dad like fully thought like everything was like named after him. So like he had like he's like the iPhone. Oh, that's like because my name
That's
is
funny.
Ira, and
Yeah.
he's like he drove an i8. He's like, yeah, that's because
that's amazing.
yeah, he was just like
I-
he was in his own world, and I think that's like really what I try to emulate. Of like he would always say like keep the focus on yourself, keep God in your life, and the rest means dip.
Wow.
So like keep the focus on yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
you
have
say
your
that
faith
again?
in whatever you need to believe in, the universe, God, whatever it is.
Say it one more time.
And keep the focus on yourself, keep God in your life, and the rest means dip.
Wow.
I like that.
I
Yeah.
really
I
like
love it.
that.
He had so many little Ira-isms, we call
Yeah.
them. So,
The first part of it,
Yeah.
keep the focus on yourself. Some people will hear that and think, well, that's selfish. But in reality,
yeah.
it's you
Far from
filling
it,
your
yeah.
cup so
Yeah.
that when it overflows, you give to
Yes.
others.
Yeah. I think you can take it in so many different ways, too. It's like keep
Beautiful.
the focus on yourself. Like, don't be so focused on what everybody else is doing
Yep.
because your comparison, it's the
Yeah.
thief of
Joy.
joy, right?
Yeah.
So keep the focus on yourself in that sense. But just it translates to so many different parts of life.
I had a question for you that
Yeah.
that I wasn't going to ask, but now I'm going to ask
Go
it
for it.
because we clarified that. In this space, your content creation business is called what again? I'm sorry.
The Bridal Club.
The Bridal
BTS,
Club,
behind the
BTS,
scenes.
right? In that, is there a lot of competition in that space? And I didn't ask the question because I am like if you ask me to name like people that compete
Yeah.
with Fuel Hunt, like I can't
Yeah.
do it. Like I can name a couple of people that
Yeah.
whatever, but like competition is the last thing on my fucking mind.
Yeah.
But since we just had that discussion about, I'm genuinely curious about just like
I
the
wish I knew.
business landscape.
I wish I
kinda,
knew.
you know what I mean?
I'm so like I literally
Yeah,
think
there it
like
is.
what I have to offer, I don't think anyone's doing the same thing.
Boom.
So
There
I
it
think
is.
yes, maybe there's other content creators, but what you're getting with me and my sister is we're on a different level.
It seems like a unique model to me, and
Yeah.
like that's why I ask. Like you have everything that it takes to make it successful, and I just wonder how many people out there are trying to do the same thing. Just
yeah, I think it's also
business curiosity.
Your
really.
personality matters. Like
Oh,
when you're
of
getting
course.
somebody, like you need to feel like that person's your best friend on your wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be somebody who can't. You need to be a
You have to
personality.
have, you have to have the feeling of this person gets me.
Yeah.
Because they are
Or
taking
cares.
or
You
cares,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you're creating.
Yes.
You are actually solidifying their moments. You're creating something
I cry.
tangible so that they can
And I don't
relive their
cry
moments.
like that. I literally
do.
fully cry.
Dude,
I'm like,
I was at a wedding most recently with that. They had a content creator, but that was my first experience with one.
Oh.
But they weren't even like super close friends. I got emotional. I feel like weddings just make me emotional in general.
yeah.
I mean, when I spoke at your wedding, I cried.
I mean,
I mean,
they
I
are
cried.
emotional.
I cried like a baby.
What day
at
is
my
it?
wedding.
Tuesday?
Oh, I'm a
Tuesday?
crybaby. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but like,
same.
if I'm watching a movie, I'm not really gonna cry.
Nah.
But in like real life instances, oh,
Dude, I cried at Bluey, man.
yeah.
When we watching Bluey, I cried.
Bluey,
I cried at Bluey.
he's
And
lying.
I can't say I'm a hot
Yeah.
girl.
God
That's a little
forbid.
different.
Is
That's
it?
a little different.
Really?
I think it's a little different, man. No,
Not Bluey.
I'm, I
On-
let my emotions out.
On my
You
wedding
wear
day,
them on your
though-
sleeve.
on my wedding day, I cried. Like I sobbed. Like it was. Like, I think
Yeah.
waves of emotion is what gets me.
I think I held my emotions in for way too long. So like I'm still like I still have emotions from like 25 years ago
That
that,
you're
I'm still
unpacking.
letting out. That I'm
Yeah.
still letting out.
No,
so I
that's
got a lot
real.
Of, yeah,
That's
no, it's a real
like
thing.
so for real.
Yeah, it's a
like
real thing.
I've always been somebody who has like been able to like verbalize how I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
to a fault, clearly. But it's never been something that I've struggled with. So I've always said how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And actually I've had to learn the opposite of maybe you don't need to say that.
Yeah.
Maybe
not
you can
everything
keep that
needs
to
it.
yourself.
Yeah, right.
Because not everybody has your best interest at heart. Simply
Yep.
for that is that
Yep.
if I would tend to be vulnerable with people who, wow, I just told you how I feel about all these things, and you're going to take advantage of me.
Yes. Or
So-
you're gonna use it against you in
Yeah.
another
So
situation.
I think
with
it's more
somebody
so
else.
like you got to protect yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
I've said this before, but I do agree. Is that people don't necessarily want what's best for you; they want what's best for them for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes out
Period.
in a lot of your interaction with people in daily life. As sad as that is to say,
I mean, I think some of it's subconscious, though, to be honest. I mean, there are people out there that are just like gamers, and they're trying to manipulate you or whatever. But I think a lot of people, it's subconscious.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
think
I
it's
mean?
just like how you're Like
Like
if
I
you
see the
don't-
world this way. I see this going this way. You have an inkling of it going that way too. Let me push you towards that.
I think
But
it's
that's
just like
all
if you're
happening.
an NPC. Like so many people are just literally NPCs and they don't do any self work and they like don't try to better themselves or like be decent human beings.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like they just are like, this is how I feel and like that's it. I'm just gonna like play in this game of life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's just about like doing your inner work and becoming like emotionally intelligent
Mm-hmm.
and like realizing that yes, you need to be selfish to a certain extent, but anything in extreme is like not good.
Yeah, I mean, like you should be selfish to be selfless.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? So fill your cup till it overflows and then give it away to everybody else. You know what I mean?
have
And
that
then
as a-
repeat the cycle,
Yep.
you know? So as you pour in everybody else, your cup empties,
Sounds
you
like-
repeat the cycle.
Sounds
Yeah.
like an irism.
Oh, sounds like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many, and now I'm like, what else is there? Like obviously I'm drawing a
Yeah.
blank. There's so many little.
The fact that you said in some degree you feel closer with him now
Yeah.
because of like all that reflection and like creating something and like bringing something to life that like honors him is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, there's so many people that didn't get to meet him, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if I can carry on any bit of him
Yeah.
for all those other people, that's kind of the goal. Because they're like light bulb moments. When you hear these things, you're like, oh, wow, like that's
well-
so true.
We've had a ton of them on the show recently, and we're saying like sounds cliche until it's not.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the
exactly.
thing.
Yeah,
Until it hits
so-
you, until it hits you at that point in your life when you need it most.
Yeah, where it all
And
makes
it-
sense.
Yeah, and then it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, like that's what that quote
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the show, you said the name of your show, but where can the community find it? All major platforms or
On
where-
Spotify and recently YouTube. So I'm getting
Okay,
new.
yeah.
It used to be like we could just be in my pajamas and be like, no one's seeing this, so this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But now it's just in my sister's
Now you have to be in
house.
your nice pajamas.
Yeah, in my cuter pajamas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
In my
your
hot girl pajamas, of course. But yeah, so it's casual in the sense that like we're just chit chatting.
Yeah.
Like us, we're just like we're yapping right now. There's no like script or anything. So yeah.
We learned that the hard way. When we first started.
We
the
did. Our
show.
first couple episodes were a bit scripted.
We felt they were scripted, but they weren't.
Yeah.
Like we didn't sit down and say like, this is what we're going to talk about. This is like we had that free flowing.
Scripted is a bad word. Yeah, not
Yeah,
scripted.
we had that
but
free.
No,
yeah.
you're not like.
Yeah, exactly.
They were rigid, I would say.
They're rigid
Yeah.
because, like, for me personally, I just felt intense pressure to always bring the irism. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
like you
felt
needed to-
intense
yeah.
pressure. Like, somebody's going to sit here and listen or watch this.
Yeah.
And I did make sure, like, literally every 5 seconds, it's
Yeah.
adding value to their
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
And
But
it was
the thing
very
is,
rigid. It was a lot of
most
pressure.
people just want to see you guys. They just
Yeah.
want to see like, oh, who are these dudes behind Fuel
Yeah.
High? Like,
Yeah.
what
Well,
are
they want to see this. They want to see jamming
Yeah.
about real life and
Yeah.
how we feel. And if something,
And the stories.
quotable spins out of
Yeah.
it, great.
Great.
I was gonna say
But-
that's the thing. A lot of these times, we instead of trying so hard to deliver irisms or value, like we just end up talking and delivering value through our words.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
clever
mean,
things
speaking
come- yeah.
speaking from radiance, I mean, that's how Bedros says
Yeah.
it. Speaking from radiance, like, you're light.
Yeah.
You're just letting it shine. You know what I mean? And then the quotables or the value, it just comes out naturally.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to do it. I tried to like, because I'll start talking about one thing. Like you'll ask me a question and I'll
Yeah.
start answering it. And I'm like, wait, did I even answer the question?
Yeah.
So I do the same thing. That's where like me and my sister are a good team. Like she'll ground me and like, wait, you didn't answer what we were supposed to do.
Right,
So I
yeah.
think there needs to be a balance in every team, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
that's how it works.
Yeah. Drew's the fun one and I'm the not.
I'm the fun one, Drew, so I get it.
Exactly. Not the workhorse. I'm gonna take that to the grave that Talia said I don't work.
No, he's literally
she
speaking
said
my
paid,
words.
she said paid actor.
I said you're a paid actor because
That's
you
what
are.
she said. So that doesn't insinuate you don't work. Actors work, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I said I hosted the last episode we just did, and now I told Joey the part of his paycheck that goes for hosting the podcast is now coming to my paycheck.
Well, it's a zero. So zero on the paycheck that goes. So now you just got zero, and you're not taking my Truly wellness shots either, dude. So they're staying with me, man. They're staying
Well,
with
one
me.
day when it comes, we do get paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah.
Soon.
Well, I'll break you off, man.
Exactly.
Your show. I believe there's a bit of manifestation talk on your
Yes.
show. Okay. So, talking about manifesting. So since probably the first time you introed and took the the wheel on the show, I've been saying I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job. So I'm literally manifesting.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my
now,
God,
Drew,
don't
say that.
become the
That's
host.
scary.
I didn't want to do it. Like,
Yeah.
Joey does speak much better than me at this point, and maybe not forever, but one day.
I
One
like
day.
That's a
that.
threat.
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that.
But so I'd always like shy away from anything
Yeah.
like that, and then I just eventually just started doing it. I
Mm-hmm.
think I do a much better job of it now, and even just speaking
Yeah.
in general. But
It's
I-
hard to listen to some of those. Like, I'll be honest, it's like hard to listen to some of those original
I
episodes.
don't listen.
Not because
I would
they
never. I would
Listen,
never.
I can't either.
not
for
because they
mine.
weren't like, and I'm sure that 50 episodes from now,
You're gonna say the
there's
same thing.
nothing
No
against
shade
you
to me.
because
It's
you're
almost-
amazing.
it's
But
almost
I'm
like-
gonna hate this episode
Yeah.
and 50 episodes.
Yeah.
It's almost
'Cause you're-
if you scroll to our 5,000 posts. I looked at it, we have 5,000.
It's the
posts
same
on
thing.
Instagram. It's
Yeah. Because you always want to
Did
be
we
better.
hit 5,000? I wanted to
Yeah.
make a big thing. Of it.
Yeah, it's current. We should take them all down and then just go to our
That's
last.
growth, man.
It's
That's
We go
what
to
it
our
is.
last-
Come
our
on,
last-
Drew. Don't you
our
know?
You
last
mean you don't
200.
like our photos of Michael Jordan that we used to post
Aw.
with our text overlays?
Exactly.
There you go.
No, it's growth. You know? what I
No,
mean?
yeah, you have
it's
to.
growth.
That's the thing is like you have to start somewhere. Like me and my sister would have never started this business or this podcast if we
Yeah.
wanted it to be perfect right off the
Yeah.
bat, right?
Yeah.
So you'll
Fuck the
learn
P
with
word.
anything you're starting as you go.
Yeah.
You can't
course.
like not if you're so scared of messing up that you
Yep.
just don't do it, then you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
So you just gotta
That's why it's important to have this conversation because there's somebody that's going to watch this.
Yes.
and be like,
And they're going to
"I'm gonna
watch.
start."
They're going to watch one of the quotable parts, and they're going to be like,
100%.
"Those I can't be like those people
Mm-hmm.
because those people have something I don't have. So I'll never start a show. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
I'll never start a business."
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, we're the same person. It's just we started already and we didn't quit.
Yeah,
That-
and I think a lot of it is like here too. Like
Oh,
if
of
you
course.
constantly think you're going to fail, you're gonna fail.
Mm-hmm.
But if you believe, like for instance, this is something silly. I was on the New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Al made a list of stuff that we want to achieve this year, and
Love that.
we have it hanging on our fridge, right?
that.
And so originally we were making the list, and I was like, wait, no. We have to start over. We're doing this wrong. We're saying we have to say these things like they already happened. So then we take out a new piece of paper, we write them as if they already happened, hang it on the fridge. One of my things is that one of my bridal club videos is going to go viral, and we're going to book a bunch of weddings. What happens?
Boom.
One of my videos goes viral, has over 100,000 views, and yeah, the weddings are going to come.
Yep.
So I really fully believe that like if you're looking for good things to happen to you, good things are going to happen to you. And that's where like I did get into manifesting. I want to say like a year ago. I found a podcast called Manifesting Miracles. And it was like, a little cheesy, but I was like, you know what? Like, I want to be a better version of myself.
It is.
So-
It's woo woo and it's cheesy until it isn't.
Yeah.
Until your
Until
reel
I'm
goes
happy.
viral. Until you're booked in through 2026
Yeah.
with your weddings. You know what I mean? But you have the work ethic to back it up.
Yeah.
So like you said, you get lost in your art. Like
Yeah.
if somebody doesn't stop you, you will edit throughout the night.
Yep.
So you have the belief that it's going to happen paired with the work ethic to make it happen, and that's the magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the manifestation. It's the
100%.
magic.
I agree.
The one thing that has to get paired with, like you said, the work, that's where people get lost, and I think have a bad relationship with the word manifestation or think it is woo woo because they don't see all of the work that also
Oh
goes
yeah, I can
with
say
it.
my video is going to go viral, but if I don't
Exactly.
post a video, what's going to go viral?
But when they hear manifesting, they think, oh, there's just some person saying
There's
they want
also
something.
there's also some people out there, and none of the manifestation books or people that I follow, but there's a lot of people out there that will try to convince you that your vision board's enough. Like every day you just have to write it 100 times over, stare at your vision board, and it's enough. That's not. It's
No.
not enough.
No.
It's not
Yeah.
enough. Now, will those things spur you into action? The work
Yeah.
to make it, they absolutely will.
Yeah.
So if I see somebody, one of these manifestation coaches, and they're saying like, look, you have to write it 100 times over every morning in the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I see where you're going with that, but tell the other half of the story that like you are going to feel guilty as fuck
Yeah.
if you don't do the thing that you just wrote 100 times.
It's kind of like
you know what I mean?
motivation versus discipline, right? It's kind of like the same sort of thing.
It is. It is. Yeah, it is.
What I also think is interesting too that I've learned about manifesting is that your goals and your manifestations are nice, but they don't just show up to you on a silver platter, right? Like it's not like I manifested this and then it came in the way I thought it was going to come.
Mm-hmm.
It comes to you in a different way, on a different journey, on a different path.
Yep.
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 I think, again, I said it like a little while ago, like when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? Like if I got into a car accident, right? God for fucking bid.
Yeah.
And I got a new car. I could look at that like, that is the shittiest fucking thing. I can't believe I got into a fucking car accident. My life sucks, blah, blah, blah. Or I could look at it like, wait, look at this brand new car I just got.
And I walked away from the accident.
Yeah.
Like I walked away from the accident and I got a brand new car. Like
And realistically, that
jackpot.
could be, you could have been manifesting a new car that year.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
That's what I'm saying. That could
Yeah.
be the.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like you could be saying that you wanted a new car, whatever it is, but that is not ideal. Maybe the way it happened. But for instance, my sister bought her house, hated her kitchen, could not stand her kitchen. It was weird. It was like blue and like all stainless steel.
Yeah.
No offense if that's your kitchen.
Yeah.
So, then I was like, fuck this girl.
Yeah.
She's-
Someone's sitting in their kitchen right now. Like,
They're
oh my
like, you know what? I was with this all 57 minutes. Now I'm fucking out of here.
This bitch. This
Yeah.
Is
So-
this what hot girl kitchens are? I'm out. I'm out.
So she loved her house, hated her kitchen. What happens? Her house has a flood.
Yep.
Guess what? Insurance covers all of the repairs. She gets new floors and a brand new kitchen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, it sucks.
You have to be.
But
You have to be really careful with where you point the manifestation line, dude. You gotta be real careful, right? Like,
it's more so like if you look at everything bad that happens to you, right?
Yeah.
As this is happening to me, not for me, life is going to suck.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you look at everything like this is happening for me,
Yep.
yep,
everything is good.
Yeah.
yep,
Even the bad things are good.
Yep. And
Because
I'm
guess
not-
what? If I never had that really shitty situation, I would never started jiu-jitsu.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
have the life you're living now.
I wouldn't be sitting here
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now.
No.
Or even like I literally, call me crazy. When I remember seeing you guys in the beginning, I'm like, just wait. I was like, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be modeling for People Hunt. I
Here you
literally
are.
manifested this,
Yeah.
and I was like, me and my sister were literally like, wait, this is crazy. This is really happening.
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
you're really doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like you guys feel like you're just like normal people, but like you have like a impact on
Yeah.
people. I was like, I'm gonna do this. This is a goal I want to achieve,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just cool how like shit like that happens.
We there's a book, Law of Attraction, and in that book he calls it the Book of Proof. So I don't know if you're a Book of Proof person, but like when things like that happen, I write them down. Now
Okay.
at this point, like I have a really good, I'm very good at keeping records mentally of my Book of Proof. But like things get hard. Things don't work out the way that you think they're going to work out or the way you want them to work out sometimes. But it's really important to keep a record of the things that just work out.
Yeah.
Because that's proof
Yeah.
that the energy that you're directing, both the belief and the work, when you direct it towards something, it can happen. You know what I
My
mean?
dad used to say that you get a book, a composition notebook,
Yep.
and you write everything down in the front of the book that you want to happen,
Yep.
and anything bad you can write in the back of the book.
Yeah.
And that was like, he'd say that to me, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, okay, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, what am I doing every morning when I'm freaking journaling? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
If you don't write that stuff, what a wise man. If you don't write that stuff in the back of the book, it lives inside you. And then it prevents the things that are in the front of the book from happening.
ever happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like
Yeah.
a fear journaling
Yeah.
like methodology. Yeah. Yeah. Powerful stuff.
It's fun you say that. I really don't even know how Talia crept into our life. I feel like she's
I just
she's
appeared.
always been here. Like I literally can't tell you when we reach out to her, what made us reach out to her, or how. Like literally, I'm like, is Talia
I think Amanda helped with the connection because I was like, okay, like I'm ready.
Yeah.
Again, I can say all I want that I want to, be a part of this community, but if I don't take any action, nothing's ever going to happen, right?
Yep.
So I reached out to Amanda and I was just like, hey, like my following's starting to grow and I'm starting to build myself as a brand. And you guys were a company that I really wanted to represent. I loved your gear. You guys were my first real rash guard. I used to just wear like long sleeves.
Yeah.
And your designs I loved, and I just felt like a hot girl in them.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I really like this brand, and I really would like them to be the people I represent, right?
Yeah.
And so then I was like, hey, like, do you think you could help with this connect? Blah blah blah. She helped with the connect, and then
that's
Here we
crazy. I
are.
don't even remember that.
off we went.
Here we
I
are.
don't have the same memory that Joey had. I have short. I
You have
forget
long-term?
everything. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know about
I
many
knew-
terms.
I remembered-
Damn, we're all
I-
fucked.
I don't know about either.
I remember the connection, but I didn't. The story that you told about like seeing Molly and Amanda and seeing some of yourself in them, and that like link of identity, that was powerful for you to tell. Because
Yeah.
that wasn't, that I didn't have registered, but, you know.
It was literally like, I think, an ad. Like, I
Yeah.
think it was an ad on my Instagram. But, like, the fact that that snowballed into so many things I did, like, I don't even think they realize. I'm like, oh, they probably think I'm fucking weird. But, like, I don't even think they realize, like, how much they have impacted, like, my jiu-jitsu journey of, like, somebody to, like, look up to. You know, somebody that, like, does this stuff, but, like, they're also cool.
It
you
is
know?
crazy
Yeah.
that our brand, being like the brand of grit and hard work, has taken the form of the hot girl brand too. I
be
feel
honest-
like it's in the hot girl.
But I think
ethos.
it's power. I think that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's power, right? Like you do the grit and the hard work, you feel more powerful. You feel like a hot girl.
I don't want
And
to
I
say the
also-
hot girl brand, the brand of hot girls. Also.
Yeah.
I also think that, like, jiu-jitsu stuff, like, you guys are the only brand that's just, like, not, like, doing weird shit.
Cringe. Not
Like,
cringe.
it's cringe, it's weird. It's like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not buying a rash guard. What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not spending money on this. Are you
That's so
kidding?
true.
It has like
Yeah.
a gorilla with like all this weird stuff on it,
Yeah.
or like the Starbucks one. Like I said in my video,
I
I'm like,
know.
it's enough.
You're like, it's
Stop
gotta
making
go,
us
it's
be
gotta
weird.
go.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not weird.
yeah.
And kudos to some of our competitors. There are some nice.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Jiu-jitsu stuff has taken a turn in the past few
Sure.
years to be like there are some.
No shade.
nice-
No
there's
shade
some-
from T.
Yeah.
There are
If
some
you're
nice-
offended, that's on you.
And even us, like our gear it's very specific. It has a message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I think
even
that-
our on trend pattern things that we're doing of late, the message is still there. Like
My sister actually asked me, like, when I told her what the, like, what everything stood for, like the everybody wants to eat before you hunt,
Yeah.
she was like, oh my God, I get it. Like, I love that.
yeah.
You know, like, not everyone's willing to do the hard work. Like, I think that's so powerful to
Yeah.
have that behind the brand. It's not just like, oh, this is a cool name.
Yeah.
You know?
I couldn't, to be honest, like personally, I couldn't do it. Like this has been about community for me since the beginning and making people stronger. And the way to do that is through words first and then action. So like I couldn't have just like a trendy,
No.
I couldn't have like a trendy brand. Like I just couldn't do it. Like there has to be
yeah.
some,
And
it's got to be the gear
meet
and the
trendy
growth
people,
for me.
right?
That's
It's gear
what
and the growth for me.
That's what differentiates us, though, is the fact that we do have purpose behind our
Yes.
apparel.
Yeah.
The hard part for us is sometimes when making business decisions, blending the two. Like, okay, like this is great for community, but it would actually be terrible
Yeah.
for business. And I think that's
Yeah.
where like the line we've always tried to teeter because
Bro,
it's like
Because I think you
That
guys are just like
You could go
such
broke.
authentically like genuine people. Like
Yeah.
you're not just looking to like make a buck.
Yeah.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you really care about people. Like when I talk to you guys, like in one of my episodes, I was literally like shouting you. You'll have to
Which-
listen.
which episode?
I gotta listen.
Oh, I don't know, but it was shortly after one of the shoots. But I was
Okay.
just like, I literally feel like you guys are just like my brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I even more. I don't even
I
barely talk to my
appreciate
brothers.
it.
Sorry guys. But I
me
just
cry.
feel like so comfortable with you guys. Like I just feel like you guys are just cool people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
it's
you.
not so much like I'm nervous. Like your energy doesn't make me tense or nervous or like
Mm-hmm.
closed up. It actually brings out like the more extroverted part
Yeah.
of me, which is where I'm like, okay, we were meant to align. You
Yeah.
know?
That's
Yep.
interesting you say that because when I was saying I didn't know how we stumbled upon Talia,
Yeah.
I was gonna say she's like the second little sister I never wanted. Like, just,
I never wanted.
She just started my life. and I
Brianna
was
is
like,
gonna be pissed.
No, Brianna knows.
First of all,
She knows.
And
knows.
it's very interesting that you're very you love my sister.
Yeah.
You guys get along so well
Well,
because
listen.
that's something.
At some point, you have to start to ask yourself,
Who's
you
the
know,
problem?
Who's the problem? Who's the problem? You took the words out of my mouth.
It's
Who's the
definitely my
problem?
sister. I know full well.
Brianna, I love you. I'm gonna be
Yes,
gift Joey
I
for
love
you
you.
over the next like 3 weeks.
Joey's
Gift Joey.
always taking the new we'll be like on meetings and like me and Brianna will start bickering
Mm-hmm.
for lack of a better word.
What day is it?
It's-
It's
I'm
always
like-
bickering.
I'm like, right, Joey? And he'll be like,
like,
I'm
no.
out. I'm out.
Or
dude."
I'll say, actually, that's Brianna's point.
Yeah, exactly.
I see
I agree
Brianna's
with her.
point.
It's never my side.
But she's like, thank you, Joey. Thank you, Joey. Yeah. But I appreciate the kind words, and you're like 100% dead on accurate. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like it's never been about the dollar
Yeah.
at all for us. Like we just want better humans and better society. And we believe that we've got the recipe for that, and it's all rooted in hard work, and that's
And
it.
we'd like to build a
I
business.
got not only one but two magnets on the fridge with all the
Yeah.
rules
Oh,
of the few.
Well, you got to keep up with the one guy we just posted. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, he's got like 19 on one
Lord.
thing.
his whole fridge is just a few.
All right,
rules of the
pipe
few.
down.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, you got a lightning round
Oh,
today
I
or
do.
what?
I do have a few.
You do have a lightning round.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
All right.
this?
Did
Lightning
you?
round.
Okay.
Lightning
you
round
are
is just
prepped for lightning
quick questions,
round.
quick answers.
Oh my God, I'm never good at that. Let's go.
Your favorite quote. I think we might already know.
My favorite quote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like when you change the way you look at things, things you look at change.
Hate to win or love to win, hate to lose.
Loved. What are you asking me?
Do you love to win or do you hate to
Oh
lose?
my God, I hate to lose. I'm really competitive, but it's something I'm working on.
Okay.
Man, that's a good one, Drew.
The next one is what is
How
the
do you remember these?
I don't know. I think about them
Paid
like,
actor.
Literally.
That's his job.
So, I have a few set ones, and then as the
Okay.
conversation goes on, I'm thinking like, okay, like this. I know a lot about the people too, so I know already where I want to go with the.
But could
lightning.
you have done this as fluidly our first 10
No,
episodes of the show? All right, boom,
no.
there you go.
Growth.
Second one
Okay, Jinx.
for what is the proper way for all the jiu-jitsu men out there for a jiu-jitsu man to slide into
Oh,
a jiu-jitsu
no.
girl's DM? Like, what is the correct way
What's
to
the proper
approach
way?
approach a girl?
No way. That's the proper
Well,
way.
she's
No
ex-
way.
Well, they're living
Yeah.
a living success story. They're
Yeah,
also
but
We
that
are.
was in person. Like,
Yeah.
that
It's-
wasn't
it
like
has to
a
be in
thanks
person.
for the role.
What,
Yeah.
I meant metaphorically slide. Like, what is the proper
okay.
way for a man in jiu-jitsu to approach the girl at jiu-jitsu? And
You know
then-
what?
Right,
Hot
better.
take is you just have to be there and the woman has to approach you.
Ah.
So I think
You have to be the hot guy. Just
Yeah.
stand, like, and have
Yeah,
the
hot
Yeah.
guy, hot guy
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu.
Hot
let's
guy
go.
energy.
I love how I say like they're a living success story, but like he's also like the head black belt. Like, it's like there's a different like level. Different level.
Yeah. I think it's a rocky. I think every girl's different too.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
people
Of
might be
course.
like, "You're creepy. Get away from me,"
Yeah.
and like it's just taken the wrong way, and then there you go. So I think you just have to like be you, and don't say weird shit, and then
Good one.
let them.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Let
some
them-
guys,
let
like,
them lead.
My DMs are just a scary place to be. You
Really?
just don't want to be in them. Yeah.
Even being like a jiu-jitsu a hot girl influencer, like that's gotta be.
Yo,
rough.
Oh, yeah.
I said this. I forget who I was talking to about this. My DMs are weird. Like my personal DMs are weird. They're a
Yeah,
weird
like you
place.
can't even explain it to somebody.
They're a weird place. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Where your DMs.
Yeah.
It's a
Today
hard
I had
way.
a guy DM
no.
me and ask me why white American males are so violent. And I'm like, what is this conversation?
What
like,
do you
why
want me
am
to
I?
say to
First of all,
them?
who
Different
are
level.
you? First of all, who
Yeah.
are you? And what is this conversation? My dude, weird place.
Yeah, it's a lot of people
Weird
being
place.
like, could you sub me? Could you break my arm?
If we
Could
were
you?
rolling,
And I'm like,
Yeah.
don't
if
be
we were rolling
weird
around in
now.
oil, would we have
It's just like, yeah.
yeah, weird.
I think
Weird
I've
shit.
seen some weird comments on your post too. Yeah.
Yeah, people are just
Yeah.
they're
Well, this goes
weird.
back
We're
to
people.
what we started talking about too. It's like being in a room with no one but talking to someone on the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, they don't
keyboard
care.
warriors.
Yeah,
They don't
They
care.
would
Warriors,
never
yeah.
say that to
I
my
love
face.
when you go to a post and there's a creepy comment, and people comment back and say like,
Yeah.
"Bro, like, what does your wife and 3 kids think about this
Oh
comment?"
my God,
Like,
right?
Yeah.
Like they literally don't even think about the fact that they literally have their whole lives like portrayed on this. On
Yeah,
it.
like, are you dumb?
Plus, the other thing too is like the more you do that, and maybe this is just me and like
at least have a burner account.
burner account.
Drew's telling us he has a burner
Yeah,
account.
nice how it. Oh,
And
you're
it's- and
Drew
it's
Wilhelm.
Drew, and
You're
it's just
Wilhelm.
Drew.
You're
What?
Drew
Oh, there was no
Wilhelm.
picture on it. You guys saw it.
It's like a picture of a truck, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it could be you, bro.
Yeah.
The shoe fits.
It could be you. They're just like it looked like a lot of generic pictures.
I told Joe we were talking about on the last episode. I want to be off the grid. I don't want.
Okay.
I love the. I want the same community. I want to have my cake and eat it too.
Oh, you want your cake and eat it too.
I
Oh,
want
see.
all the people I have in my life. I want to be able to interact with these, but I want to be able to just go and
I've-
be.
I get that though.
Yeah.
I do. Ironically, I do get it. But if I didn't need if social media didn't fill this creative void for me the way it did, I think I would be ghosted too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
sure.
just fills me like it fills my cup.
Yeah.
So
I've changed my relationship too. Like I used to, kick it to the dirt and social media this, social media that. I can't wait to be
my-
wealthy enough to buy an island and that I can just sit on the island by myself. But the reality of it is not what I want. Like
Yeah.
what I want is what you said, the community, the ability to create, like as an artist, which that's how I see you. As an artist, like we've never had more opportunity than we do now to create anything we want at any time with almost any tool for free.
Yep.
You know, and do people use it in fucked up ways? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, they use all sorts of other type of instruments that way also.
True.
You know
True
what
that.
I mean?
I think it's also like a
So-
generational thing. Like I use, which like is so scary that TikTok might get banned, or is banned. But
Yeah.
I use that as like a search engine because like when I'm going on social
Yeah,
media,
of course.
I'm getting somebody's authentic reviews and response.
That's fair.
You know, so
Yeah,
I
that's
use it
valid.
as like a way to say like, okay, should I buy this or this, or if I'm buying this, what size should I get? Which is why, like,
Sure.
for instance, I always put my sizes when I'm like
Dude, I
posting
didn't even-
my sets.
People do that.
You know, like
Yeah, people
I've
do that.
posted a video that's like I'm this height and this weight, and this is what I wear because that's what I want to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Like, if you are creating for the right reasons and you're creating authentically and you're creating something that makes other people better, you can rapidly do that
Yeah.
nowadays. And that elevates everybody's art, you know? And I know some of my some of my friends that work in painting, sculpting, and everything, they're going to roast me for saying that you can create art, but that's the way I see it nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean, look at what we've done.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
I will
What
say
you're
my
doing, it's the same thing.
tirade is against technology and the hold it has on us, less on social media.
Yeah, but-
It's toxic. It's horrible.
Even when we're not with our my phone, we're thinking about what's happening on our phone.
Here's the thing. Here's what I want to leave you with. I agree with you, but let me just devil's advocate.
Have your
maybe
moment.
call that. Can I have a moment? I don't know. Whatever.
You can have the
however it
mic.
goes.
It's all yours.
Is it the technology or is it our psychology? So the technology has been built to leverage weak points in our psychology. The technology has been built to change the way we think.
He's
change
right.
our psychology. You're kind of shooting the, and this is me over the past like 90
no,
days.
you're trying to work on I need to do self work.
No, what I'm saying is you're shooting the messenger. Like
It's tapping into the weakest parts of us that like
and it's good at
Yeah.
it. So I'm not saying like you're like I got this, dude. I'll
Yeah, I'm
doom
not-
scroll every once in a while.
I'm not taking offense to it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying you're keeping it real.
I'm keeping it real. Like I used to blame the
Like
technology.
it's not the phone, it's me.
it's like if I feel bad about
what they've
myself.
built for the phone because of what they know about your psychology. That's what it is. So like if you understand the psychology, then you can build a good fence around it.
Yeah.
So that you're not going to
That's
let in
scary.
what. Yeah, there's a book. Oh man, I forget the title.
Yeah, I know.
It's very hard to get actually. The book. Like
Yeah,
if
of
you go on
course.
Amazon,
They don't want you to have
Because
it.
they don't want you to have it.
so it's not
That's like
on. It's not on the Kindle.
everything.
It's not on the Kindle. And if you go on Amazon, they have like it's one of those books that's only available in hardcover, and the book's like $300.
Oh,
I forget the name of the
there
book.
was a Warren Buffett book that was like that I never got.
And in that book, like it outlines like how.
Oh my God,
And
that's
dude,
scary.
I used to build software. Like I
Oh.
know this. That's one of the reasons I left.
Look at this king.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the
He's a
reasons I left.
technology
but-
king.
Yeah.
What's that?
Technology king.
I mean, I guess.
No,
I
it
call
really,
worse.
it really is crazy.
You understand where I'm
I
coming
understand
from.
what
And
you're
you get
saying
it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like me doom scrolling, if I'm scrolling and scrolling and I feel bad afterwards, it's like the only person I have to blame is me.
Yeah. I mean,
I
that's
don't
a-
have to pick up the phone.
That's
Yeah.
a much more straightforward way of putting it that makes sense to a lot more
Well,
people
yeah.
than my tirade.
And we're going off.
That's fine.
But my
We still got the lightning round to do. Oh wait, we already
no,
did that.
yeah, the challenge, my personal struggle with the phone is work, email, like just like knowing that there's like
You don't get
at
to
my
clock
finger.
out.
And I want
And
to
you
just
wanna do
be
it.
I want to be where I am. That's all. Like I want
Yeah,
to be
I
working when
understand.
I'm working and with my
Present.
family, present, doing jiu-jitsu when it's time to jiu-jitsu.
I
Yeah.
installed last year. I installed Opal. I don't know if you've ever
No.
used the Opal app. So I used it to basically just create fences around the time that I could use social media.
Okay, so you're basically putting like child.
It's basically parental control.
Yeah,
it's
parental control on your phone.
So, like I have my day is blocked out, right? But then I blocked out my phone. Like that's the way I was looking at it, right? So if I have magic time in the morning and I have Amish shower at night, right? Instead of relying solely on my willpower, I also have this block on my phone. And I used it for like the better part of the year.
And then it creates a habit.
And yeah, it created a habit. And not that like my habit was super out of control, but like everybody gets pulled into the abyss
Yeah.
every once in a while. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, everyone.
you
gets in the abyss.
text and you're like, hey, look, like this thing, what do you think about this? And I'm like, oh, wait, let me look at the feed real quick. And then I go on the feed and I'm like, oh, my friend's stories.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, let me big up my friend. And then I get to the
me
next
big up my
story.
friend.
Big up.
Yeah.
Big up.
Yeah, that's just
And then I get to the next story and I'm like, well, that sucks. And then I get to the next story, and I'm like, death and destruction. And then I get to the next story.
And then,
and before you know it, it's out of control.
No, you're right.
You watch one reel, and then you accidentally swipe to the next. Like, it's a perfectly
Well, doesn't it automated?
It's a
goes, doesn't it?
Oh, I think that's TikTok.
I think that's like Facebook.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Boomer.
So look, you can say. What I was going with Opal was, I used it last year. It helped a lot with raising my level of awareness.
Yeah.
So although my habit wasn't out of control, my awareness needed some honing. So it raised my level of awareness. This year I've uninstalled it and I've been fine.
It's called Opal.
Opal, OPAL. Yeah.
I think that I might need to do that because sometimes I find myself like, for content creation, I'll go on to reels as like sometimes I gotta scroll for like inspiration, right? So like I'm scrolling for inspiration, but then when does that turn into I'm just fucking doom scrolling?
Yeah. So the recipe for social, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you've heard it, right? Entertain, right? Inspire, educate, right? So I've thought a lot about this. Sometimes I would go on because you'd say something to me and I'd be like, okay, I need to check the feed or the reel or whatever. You can go with one intention to be inspired or like, oh, wait, I saw a creator post this type of transition and I want to see the transition. And that's what you go for.
And you're sucked in.
But then you get sucked into the entertainment and then the entertainment starts and you're like,
So
it's like a chip.
Right?
You can't just have one.
That's my point earlier. That it's a perfectly curated feed of entertainment just for you. Like they know what you're going to like.
The algorithm.
So, but I read a book by Rick Rubin called The Art of Creativity, I believe it's called.
That's great. Yeah, great book.
And
when did you read that?
When?
Yeah.
Probably last year.
He's in his
tell
reading
me you
era.
read that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not reading it.
I'm surprised you didn't tell me you read that.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel when I read it,
He's offended.
I felt like it was like a Joey book.
It is, yeah.
But one of the,
I'm not up with everything in that book, by the way. Like some of the things I disagree with strongly.
Okay, so one of the messages I was thinking about the tone of that book. It was a very creative book.
Yeah. No.
So,
but he has.
You said at what point?
He has this thing like where he's like always creating for self.
Yeah.
And like we talked about that a little bit. Like you got to be selfless.
Yeah,
selfish
you have
to be
to
selfless.
Yeah.
But like he took it, I think, in that book to like another level. Sorry to interrupt, but that's one of the things that like didn't get.
So
didn't resonate with him, but go ahead.
to Talia's point with at what point does it turn from research to doom scrolling? It kind of made me think like I feel like Rick Rubin would just be like, well, it's whatever you want it to be, right? Like, creativity might take hours of doom scrolling. You know what I mean?
Until you see the one thing.
You're right.
You see
No,
where
you're
I
right.
drew-
You're
I drew
right.
that connection.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right. And that's where I'm kind of like not with it. Because like I know like what's filling my cup so that I can pour in others' cups, and I know what's just making me like laugh.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with laughing, but do I need to laugh for 6 hours straight?
But
And
then,
like, you know
but what is creativity? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is inspiration?
Okay, Rick. Yeah, right, Rick. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I think the case you're making too is like maybe that's what you needed in that moment. You didn't know.
To be creative.
You know?
Yeah.
And inspired.
Yeah, like maybe you needed to shut the switch off to be able to turn it back on.
So what I'm saying is doom scroll for 3 hours.
Doom
bro.
scroll.
Oh, man, you're gonna
Doom
get
scroll galore.
roasted, bro. You're the roasted.
He's gonna get canceled.
Yeah, this episode.
I've seen after with Coach John, it's been like a steady decline,
No, it
bro.
was like ever since I said that he like was a paid actor. He's just like
yeah, we got
I really
that.
had to
We got
live.
that.
world.
I really had to live it.
Well, we did the lightning round already, so we don't even really have anything to close out.
I
with.
have one more question, but we don't have to do it. But we can.
We can. Let's just
What's your
we're having
favorite
fun.
fuel hunt set?
oh my god. So it's like, is it because it's like sentimental or what? You know. So I have to if I'm taking like the sentimental part out of it. I'm gonna say the new one, the black and white, starts with a K.
Kumo.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that one.
You and thousands
You
and
and
thousands of other people would say the
thousands
same,
of
and
other people.
we're trying
It
to.
eats. It's just like it. I actually had somebody, guys. See, this is how I'm like,
Yeah.
aligned. I had somebody come across my video and message me and was like, what's the difference? I see that Fuel Hunt has new shorts. Like, what's the difference between the two kinds of shorts? Which one should I wear? Am I allowed to wear these ones to Jiu-Jitsu? And I was like, I got you. This
Yeah.
is why I
You
post
come
what
to the
I
right
post.
place.
Yeah.
And please,
You know?
please use code Talia when you're trying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I actually didn't even tell her, but I was like,
You
here's my
should.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And you'll see it there.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to like plug myself too hard.
Well, I just plugged your code on
on the Fuel Hunt.
The website.
on the show.
No, he
so-
didn't leave the numbers, so
Oh,
it's really.
shit. I forgot.
It's okay.
Talia 10.
Yeah, there you go. Talia 10.
But
Was it any other questions?
No,
We
that
did
was it.
lightning round. I had so much fun this episode.
I had so
I
much
don't
fun.
remember if I opened the episode up or not. Did I lose my
You
job
did.
for this
No, you
episode?
did.
you
Okay.
did.
The
All right.
host sits in this seat.
And you know what? Even if you didn't, we were just chatting.
Yeah,
We were just
exactly.
chit-chatting.
It was just perfect.
I will say,
It was
Talia,
the P word.
you are born for the camera, though. Like,
Oh.
you are a personality.
Thank you.
Did you?
How do you deal with this, like, at home? Like, is she
24/7.
always 24/7, like, this lively and entertaining?
Always on.
that's a beautiful
Like
thing, though.
literally always on. Could you believe it?
Always on
Speaking
11.
of congruency, like, Amanda, my wife,
Yeah.
like, you met her, but
Once.
and she's
Yeah.
a bubbly goofball at home, at work, all phases of life.
Yeah.
There's no.
I'm
Yeah.
never serious. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, if I said something, like I will just prank. Like that's just like my energy is like I'm constantly. If I said, everything I said today was authentic and true.
Yeah.
Let me preface
But
that.
you will prank.
But I will prank. I'll just be like, yeah, like that person is my cousin,
Yeah.
and like people will just be like, oh my god, really? And I'm like, yeah.
That's
And it's
fun.
not my cousin. Like you just have to have fun in
You gotta
life.
have to have fun.
I
You
agree.
gotta have fun.
I agree.
Where let's recap.
Yeah.
Where everybody can find you. Most people know where to find you.
Okay.
your
But where
business.
can they
I got
find you?
you.
Yeah. So not just you, but also your bridal business, content creation business, and your show.
Yes.
So let's just recap.
So me, of course, the most important one. It's Talia Nierman, TaliaNierman on all my socials. You know what? I hope to see a YouTube channel coming for me this year.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to do it. But Instagram is where you'll mainly see me. And then if you're getting married or you know somebody getting married, it's thebridalclub.bts on Instagram. And then the iWorld podcast, I think. It's the iWorld podcast.
At the iWorld
yeah,
podcast.
at
on
the iWorld
Instagram.
podcast.
Yeah.
And then we're still building up our other Instagram, the social club. It's in the works. I don't even know if I want to tell you to go there yet.
Good.
So.
Okay. All right.
It's funny because like it's ironic. I'm making content for other people, but I'm not doing it for that page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a lot of other things
I
juggling
got you. One thing will
But
feed the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in today. We love having you here.
Thank
Whether
you
it's
for
for a
having
shoot, show, whatever, we love having you here. Al, we love having you here too, man. We love having
Professional
you
chauffeur.
here. I know you're. Nah, he's behind the scenes. He's doing his content creation,
Yeah.
transportation.
He might start his
You
own
don't even
company
know,
soon.
guys.
Yeah,
He's
I
gonna
know.
have
That's
a competing brand.
Yeah,
He's gonna
Talia's
pop up. He's
Talia's
gonna
like,
pop
I don't know
up."
any of my competitors except for like the one living in her house.
Exactly. Yeah, in all seriousness, we love having you both
We love
here.
you guys.
So
We love
thanks
you
for
guys.
coming through. All right, I'll leave with you with a
All right.
reminder. Always choose hard work over handouts. Always choose effort over entitlement. Remember, no one owns you. No one owes you. You're one of the few. Now let's hunt.
Good, baby.
Period.